Welcome to Night Whisper Tales.
They said she was foolish. They said she had nothing to lose. But that night, she would risk everything to save a stranger she didn't even know. Mira had worked in the Dawson mansion for years, invisible to everyone, but responsible for everything. She woke before the sun, scrubbed floors, and slept on a thin mattress beside the kitchen. No one noticed her, except when there was blame to assign. One stormy night, everything changed. She found a stranger collapsed under a tree, bloodied and barely breathing. His eyes glowed faintly gold, not human, not anything she had seen before. Mira tore her scarf to make a bandage, pressing it to his wounds. Her hands shook as she whispered for him to hold on. She carried him through the storm, ignoring the chill and mud. Her heart pounded as thunder crashed above, each step heavier than the last. By the time she reached the mansion, she was soaked and exhausted. The head maid exploded in fury at her appearance, her voice like a whip. "You're late again, and look at yourself," the head maid screamed. Mira tried to explain, voice trembling, but no one listened. The mistress of the mansion saw only disgrace. "You embarrassed my household. Pack your things, you're fired," she declared coldly. Homeless and trembling, Mira walked out into the rain. She clutched a torn apron and 2 pennies, the weight of injustice heavy in her chest. As she walked, a howl pierced the storm. It was long, ancient, and full of power, shaking the trees. Mira froze, remembering the golden eyes of the stranger she had saved. A strange hope and fear twisted inside her. Could it be that he was not just a man? Legends she had only heard whispered as a child flashed through her mind. The next morning, soldiers with silver armor and wolf emblems arrived at the mansion. They demanded to see the girl who saved the Alpha King. Servants whispered nervously. The mistress turned pale. The captain of the soldiers spoke with authority. "We are here for the girl who saved the Alpha King." They found Mira sleeping on a bench outside the bakery, exhausted and mud-streaked. When the captain told her the king wanted to see her, she laughed, then froze in disbelief. She had only wanted to save a life. Now her life was changing forever. The carriage that took her was ornate, gilded with silver, and smelled faintly of jasmine and smoke. The roads twisted through dark forests, and Mira noticed strange carvings on the trees, symbols that seemed to glow faintly as the carriage passed. Her thoughts drifted back to the storm, the golden eyes of the stranger, and the pounding of her own heart. She was leaving everything she knew behind. Finally, the palace rose before her, like a shard of ice under the moon. Towers braided with silver, banners with wolf sigils snapping in the wind, gleaming ominously. Soldiers escorted her through cavernous halls, lit by cold blue lanterns. The air smelled faintly of jasmine and iron, powerful and strange. The throne room opened, vast and silent. Silver banners hung like frozen waves. The man from the forest sat on the throne, his golden eyes fixed on her. His gaze pierced her as if she was the only thing in the room. "You found me in the woods. You saved me," he said, voice low and resonant. Mira dropped to her knees, heart hammering. She had not expected a king, let alone a supernatural one with power radiating from his very being. Then he stepped down, moving closer, and said words that shattered her world. "Mira, you are my fated mate." Mira's thoughts spun. Legends were not meant to touch her life. Her heart pounded, fear and wonder mingled in her chest. He brushed her wrist gently, and a warmth spread through her. Flashes of moonlit forests and silver wolves filled her vision. Everything she thought about her life, safety, hunger, invisibility, shattered. The world tilted. She had crossed a threshold with no return. They led her to a small chamber for the night. Not a prisoner, not a guest, but someone the kingdom could not ignore. She curled into the thin bed, thinking of the storm, the blood, and the warmth in a stranger's chest. Tomorrow, the palace would decide her fate. Tonight, she slept with the knowledge that her life as a poor maid was gone forever. She dreamed of wolves with silver eyes running under a blood-red moon. Whispers of prophecy, danger, and destiny swirled around her sleep. A shadow moved outside her window. She opened her eyes to see a faint silhouette disappearing into the courtyard, leaving behind a trail of frost. Mira shivered, unsure if it was real or a dream. The wind howled, carrying a voice she almost recognized. A warning? A promise? Or perhaps both? Morning arrived, pale and cold. Servants scurried about, and the palace buzzed with news of the Alpha King's arrival and the girl who saved him. Mira dressed in borrowed silks, feeling every eye on her. Whispers followed her, rumors of destiny and power that she did not understand. The Alpha King entered the hall, silver armor glinting in sunlight streaming through tall windows. He stopped when he saw her, and all noise seemed to fade. "Rise, Mira," he commanded softly. She obeyed, unsure whether she trembled from fear, awe, or something else entirely. He spoke of an ancient prophecy, of a girl from nowhere who would change the fate of his kingdom and the pack he led. Mira listened, disbelief and wonder battling inside her. A loud crash interrupted them. A magical barrier shattered in the distance, and whispers of an attack reached their ears. Tension rippled through the hall. Mira's pulse quickened. She realized that saving one life had pulled her into a war far greater than she could imagine, a world of power, danger, and destiny. The Alpha King placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "Do not fear. You are not alone in this. But you must choose your old life or the life that awaits." Mira looked out the tall window at the forest beyond, golden light breaking through the mist. Her choice would define not only her fate, but the fate of many she had never met. She swallowed hard, feeling the weight of destiny on her small shoulders. The story she had never wished to be part of had begun, and there was no turning back.